Good morning, students. Today we'll continue the lesson Health and Hygiene in class 6th biology, and today we'll discuss about the metabolic diseases and the hereditary disease, as well as the different community hygiene as well as personal hygiene to protect our body from any kind of diseases. So first we will take the metabolic diseases. What are metabolic diseases? So metabolic diseases are those diseases which are caused due to the malfunctioning of an organ or organ system, or by the certain imbalance of certain control and coordination mechanism. So whenever any organ or organ system of our body are not working properly, so that type of diseases which are caused due to the malfunctioning of any organ system or organ of our body is called metabolic diseases. And for example, we can take the example of impaired functioning of the kidney. Sometimes what happens, the kidney does not function properly, and that is a metabolic disease. And also the heart disease. So whenever the heart does not work properly, means he or she suffers from any kind of heart disease. So these are all examples of the metabolic disease. And hereditary disease are those diseases which are inherited from the parents. So from parents, if the child or the baby is inheriting, or they are passed from parents to their children, then such type of disease are called hereditary disease. And for example, hemophilia. So what is actually hemophilia? So hemophilia is a hereditary disease in which whenever the blood oozes out from the body of the person, then that blood fails to clot. Means we all know that whenever there is a cut or injury in our body, so blood starts coming out, and after some time the blood clots and the blood oozing of the blood stops. But in the case of hemophilia, what happens, the blood fails to clot and continuous the bleeding takes place, and due to which the persons can die also. So this kind of disease is called hereditary disease. These are always passed from parents to their children. Now there are some healthy practices for community hygiene. So community hygiene, first of all we should understand what is community and what is hygiene. The community means group of people who are living in a particular area. They forms a community. And hygiene means the cleanliness which they have to maintain near the surroundings or the area where they are living. So cleanliness which have to be maintained, that is called hygiene. So what are the healthy practices the people have to follow? First of all, the surroundings should be kept neat and clean. What happens whenever there is a garbage in the surrounding, in the area where they are living? So what the flies or they sit mostly in the dirty places and they carry the germs. So what happens, these germs can cause infection to us also, as well as sometimes what happens, the mosquitoes also they get breed in, especially in the puddles or in the pit where the water is collected, and these mosquitoes can enter the house and they can bite the person and causes malaria. So surroundings should be kept neat and clean. Second one is drains should be covered. So this is also the same thing, that the flies, especially the house flies, they carry the germs, like germs which carry the different kinds of cause of the different kinds of disease, like bacteria especially. So whenever they sit in the food or they fall in the water, drinking water, then if such food is taken by the people or such water is taken by the people, then he or she suffer from communicable diseases. So drains should be covered, and garbage should be properly segregated. So garbage is of two types, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So biodegradable garbage means, or waste means, those which can be decomposed by the action of microorganisms, and non-biodegradable waste are those which cannot be decomposed by the action of microorganisms. So biodegradable waste, we can take the kitchen waste, especially peels of vegetables or fruits, whatever the waste which come from the kitchen, they are biodegradable waste, and non-biodegradable waste like plastics, polythene and other which cannot be decomposed. So both the waste should be separated and they should be kept in different dustbins so that they can be disposed properly according to the type of garbage, biodegradable or non-biodegradable waste. And sometimes what happens from our house also, the different kinds of broken bulbs, batteries, blades and nails, they also come out in the form of waste. So they should also be properly separated, because whenever the garbage pickers, when they come and they try to pick the garbage, biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste, then what happens, it can harm the people who are picking the waste, especially the garbage pickers. And this garbage should be properly disposed. Properly disposed means there are different methods of disposal of the different types of garbage. So they should be properly disposed, like the hospital waste should be burned properly, and some biodegradable waste, they should be converted into compost by composting method. So there are different methods, like landfill method is there, incineration method is there. So according to the type of waste generated from the homes or from the industries, they should be properly disposed of. And dirty water should also be properly disposed of. Dirty water uh, which are collected in the puddles or in the from the homes also, the dirty water which comes out, they should be properly disposed of. And another main topic or main point for the community hygiene is that provision for the safe drinking water should be there in the community, in the locality or in the colony, so that the people do not suffer from any kind of diseases. And for the awareness of the people, the health and education and about the hygiene education should be given in the form of dialogue or in the form of any kind of programs, so that the people can understand what is the importance of this health and hygiene. So these are some of the basic methods or the points which have to be followed while maintaining the community hygiene. And now there are some points I want to discuss about the how different preventive measures against communicable diseases. So communicable disease, you all know that the disease which are transmitted from one person to another, like common cold, flu, influenza, these are all communicable disease. So how can we prevent this communicable disease? So first of all, personal hygiene is very important. Personal hygiene means hygiene of an individual, cleanliness of an individual, either in the form by taking bath or wearing clean clothes, combing the hair. These are the personal hygiene, small you all know about. And second one is the community hygiene is very essential. Just now I discussed community hygiene also protect the people from any kind of communicable diseases. Handkerchief should be used to it should be used to cover the mouth and the nose, because what happens whenever we sneeze or we cough, then the droplets, they remain in the air, they come out from our mouth and nose and they remain in the air, and the people who are standing or sitting or there nearby, then that droplet can be transferred to that healthy person through the air only, because he is inhaling the oxygen, so that through that nose it can enter his body. Now, water should be filtered or boiled before drinking, because the main cause of the communicable disease is through contaminated water and the food. So, food should also be covered properly, uncovered food should be avoided, and the water should be filtered, should be boiled properly to protect our body from communicable diseases. And use of the articles of infected person should be avoided. So whenever there is any infected person in our home, then his or her article should be separate, should be isolated. It should not be used with the other person. The other person should not use his or her article who is infected by any kind of disease. And the last one is that water should not be allowed to collect in the puddles. So as I told you, whenever the water is collected anywhere. Either we are using the coolers in our home. Sometimes what happens, the water gets collected in the cooler, or in there are ditches nearby our house. In the form of puddle, the water gets collected, and that water is the breeding ground for the mosquitoes. And more mosquitoes they breed, and they bite us, and they cause malaria. We all know that malaria is caused by the bite of the female Anopheles mosquito. So the puddles, that water should not be allowed to collect in the puddles or in the ditches or the coolers. If the water is there, then it should be taken out and thrown, and it should be dry and not in use. So these are some of the methods for preventing measures against communicable disease, as well as whatever the healthy practices we have to follow to prevent any kind of communicable disease in the community hygiene. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we'll discuss some other topics. Thank you.